welcome back to All About That Disney Life. I am Danny B, the girl who is all about that Disney life. We now move on to Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True, which came out in 2002. So let's get to know this cast. Jennifer Hale was Cinderella. Rob Paulsen was Jacques, the Grand Duke, the baker, Sir Hugh, Bert, and the flower vendor. Corey Burton was Gus. Andre Stojada was the king. Russi Taylor was the fairy godmother. Drusilla Tremaine, Mary Mouse, Beatrice, Countess Legrand, and Daphne. Suzanne Blakesley was Lady Tremaine. Tress MacNeille was Anastasia Tremaine. Holland Taylor was Prudence. Christopher Daniel Barnes was Prince Charming. And Frank Welker provided the vocal effects for Lucifer, Pom-Pom, and Bruno. Now we move on to the facts all about the sequel to Cinderella. Number 1, the backstory. Like I've said, this is a sequel to the original Cinderella movie. This is a direct-to-video fantasy comedy anthology film. It is the first in the series to use digital ink and paint, and this movie was released on February 26, 2002. Number 2, the stories. We have 3 stories told throughout this movie, and they are Aim to Please, Tall Tale, and An Uncommon Romance. So let's give a backstory to these 3 stories. The first story is Aim to Please. In the first segment, Cinderella and Prince Charming return from their honeymoon, and Cinderella reunites with her mice friends and her dog Bruno. She is later put in charge of the palace banquets and parties while the king and Prince Charming are away. However, Cinderella is dissatisfied with the emphasis on tradition and decides to organize the upcoming party her own way. Although he initially seems to be shocked at Cinderella's changes, the king ends up satisfied with the party. The second story is Tall Tale. In the second segment, Jacques thinks he is too small to help Cinderella in the palace as he did in the first movie. The fairy godmother turns him into a human named Sir Hugh, so he can help out. However, this does not stop Pom-Pom, the palace's cat, from chasing Jacques around. After an accident with an elephant at a fair, he learns to be happy with himself. The last story is called An Uncommon Romance. In the last segment, Anastasia, one of Cinderella's stepsisters, falls in love with a baker named Lathian, of whom her mother, Lady Tremaine, and older sister Drusilla disapprove. Cinderella, unbeknownst to anyone else, arrives and secretly watches as Lady Tremaine berates Anastasia, thus leading her to help Anastasia in getting ready for the ball together. Later at the ball, Anastasia thanks Cinderella for helping her. Lucifer also has an encounter with Pom-Pom, the castle's cat, whom he falls in love with. Number 3, nominations. At the DVD Premiere Awards, this movie was nominated for Best Animated DVD Premiere Movie, but it lost to The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, The Secret of the Bell. This movie was also nominated for Best Animated Character Performance, but it lost to Barbie as Rapunzel. Follow Your Heart and Put It Together were both nominated for Best Original Song, but they both lost to The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, The Secret of the Bell. This movie was also nominated for Best Original Score, but it lost to Barbie as Rapunzel. And this movie was nominated for Best Editing, but it lost to Winnie the Pooh, A Very Merry Pooh Year. Number 4, bonus facts. This movie is narrated by the mice and occasionally by the fairy godmother. In this adapted sequel, the castle is red despite being white and blue in the original movie. It is possible that the castle has been repainted by the events of the sequel. An Uncommon Romance segment centering on Anastasia is similar to the movie Kronk's New Groove, centering on Kronk. Both stories being centered on characters that in the previous movie acted as secondary antagonists. In both stories, they both end up finding love. Jacques' name was pronounced Jack by certain characters in this movie. This is because the kingdom in which Cinderella is highly inspired by France, and Jacques is a variant of Jacques, which is the French equivalent to Jack. All the 3 segments of the movie were originally episodes of an unsuccessful canceled TV series named Cinderella Stories. As with many direct-to-video sequels, the movie is minor in terms of financial progress and major storyline progression, but nonetheless furthers character development. Despite having moved out of the Tremaines' chateau and therefore no longer works as a scullery maid, Cinderella is still wearing her scullery maid outfit from her peasant days while in the castle as her regular outfit. Most of the time, for some unexplained reason, though, it's most likely possible that she's accustomed to wearing these outfits for years, as revealed in the Aim to Please segment. In the An Uncommon Romance segment, the reason why she wears her maid outfit when going to the marketplace, it's just to be used as a disguise. It is revealed in the movie that Cinderella's signature ball gown from the original movie does come in more than one color, aside from the classic ones such as pink, greenish blue, and gold, implying Cinderella does have a wardrobe full of these ball gowns, aside from the original one the fairy godmother gave her in the original movie, once she moved into the palace. This is the only Disney-made Cinderella movie that doesn't show a glass slipper scene. Cinderella is supposed to be set sometime during the 1870s or 1880s. However, in the Tall Tales segment, a Ferris wheel is depicted. The first Ferris wheel was not invented for another decade. Number 5, the good points and the bad points to this sequel. Like with all the other Disney sequels, this is based off of the internet's perspective of what the good points and the bad points are for this sequel. So with the good points, they are saying that they liked the lessons on being true to yourself and following your heart for young children. The music is fun and the movie has good animation. And a lot of people are liking the format of the mice writing a book and telling the stories about life after Cinderella and the Prince Charming had their happily ever after. This sequel is similar to the Beauty and the Beast sequel. And a lot of people are saying that they like that Anastasia and the prince have more of a role in this sequel as opposed to the first movie. Now, the bad points, some are saying that the sequel came out almost 50 years later. Again, another sequel that should have come out sooner rather than later. A lot of people are saying that this lacks a story, that it doesn't flow as nicely as the first one. It's just a hodgepodge of this and that. There's no plot to this story, and the writers are just trying to fill in a plot by writing a lot of jokes. This movie also lacked the magic of the first movie, and a lot of fans are saying that this sequel resembles a lost TV show. And there you have it, all the facts to Cinderella 2. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you have a zippity-doo-dah day. Goodbye.